Yes, I did actually. Yeah, being British, I did, but I mean Eddie obviously didn't, and he took to it.
It's all new. It's all new for me. So hence my Eddie Izzard makeup in between the shows. And I hope you didn't get my nails because they're I haven't redone them. So the whole nail polish thing is new to me as well.
Well, for me personally, I mean I've just given you a little bit when we go back, but it's most English, British, Irish kids, whatever, their first experience of going to the theatre is going to pantomime. And it's good because regardless of your background, you know, whether you're from a wealthy background or, you know, more of a modest background, you're going to go to a pantomime and it's going to be your first thing that you ever see. And to be able to go there and just go nuts, it kind of makes you think, yeah, this is a pretty cool place, the theatre. So, you know, that's a really good thing, I think.
And then as far as the American audiences go, they have never been exposed to this sort of thing. So we have children coming in to see the show, and they're basically in school and have been being told, don't be quiet, don't say anything. Yeah. Whatever you do, don't. And here we're kind of giving them license to go crazy. And our first show, it was like doing panto at an Oakland Raiders game, where the kids are just screaming boo, and they love participating. And the fact that they get to do that, like, because they've been told to behave, and here's a chance where they can be boo, you stink, and be really. It was amazing the amount of energy that the kids that they throw at the show, and they just have a blast. And I've had little girls come up and say, I hate your stinking guts. And that's little, it's like being home. My mom, I'm like, you sound like my mother when you talk like that. But it's very interesting, and it's wonderful to see the kids crying and being moved by that kind of stuff, that really enjoying the heck out of the show. So I think I'm really excited that we're able to bring this to the United States. And we had teachers who were in the show also said that they were actually crying, saying they were trying to get children don't go to the theater enough, and she's been trying to get these kids to get into the theaters, and she was crying like tears of joy because she was like, well, oh my gosh, they love this so much, they're so into it. So pretty much, yeah.
And what's it like working with the Lithgow family?
Well, it's been really good. I mean, it's Bonnie has such a nice approach, and I remember when we went into rehearsals at one point because things change quickly, and I'm looking at Bonnie and she's so relaxed and composed about it all. And I'm thinking,
no matter
wow.
what comes at her, she just handles the pressure and in a very professional, just calming way. From children, the little girls with their problems to kids being sick and dropping out of the show. She's just very adaptable and is able to basically remain composed while everybody else is like, oh, how are we gonna make this work?
And for Bonnie as well, myself and Freddie. The English guys involved, and for everybody else, it was a new experience, panto. I mean, I've never been in a panto before, but I grew up watching them, same as Freddie. So she just had this approach where it was like, we'll get there, don't worry. But we're counting down the days, thinking, what, we open in like 2 nights, and we've got the press come in, and
constantly shifting. We have to deal with union rules and how to keep the show at a certain time frame. And panto, the panto form is a lot of improvisation. We have kids will lengthen the show by screaming and yelling. You can't say your lines, so we have to sometimes have to go over that. So it's been difficult, but it's been a fun process. We're literally losing lines of dialogue, not knowing when to come on. Like I almost came on during one of the in my big Christmas pudding outfit. I almost came on during the duet when the 2 kids would have been singing their duet like right over my head while I was sitting out there as a big ball of pudding. So it was a little bit daunting of like, oh, I should not be on stage right now. I had to pick up myself and kind of slink off stage and as the lights were coming up. And the fairy
I had one yesterday when there's quite a tender scene with Cinderella and I tell Cinderella I love her. And as I've come in, we're going to the ball, her ticket's been ripped up by these evil, ugly stepsisters. And I go out and I'm about to pick up a piece and say my line, and a little kid shouted out, Buttons, the ugly sisters ripped it up. So I'm thinking, well, it's panto, you got to acknowledge it. I'm like, really? They ripped it up? Well, thank you very much, those evil, ugly stepsisters. So, in a way, you have to. If they give you that line and they bring it in, that's what they're there, and they really feel like they're helping us move this story forward. Exactly, and you've got to acknowledge that, and you can't really be like, okay, they've just told me what happened. You've got to acknowledge it, then you've got to roll with it, and if it means adapting the line, then you do that. And back to with Bonnie and Chris and everything, they've been so good in the way that they've kind of, at one stage I was like, I just don't think we're going to be ready. We've got all this to learn. And it was like, trust me, it will all come together. And then it magically did. Maybe it was the fairy. I don't know. Do you think it was a fairy? Yeah,
it could have been a little bit
bibbly
of help
bobbly
from the
boo.
fairy, some magic involved in the show. But
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun. It's just been, and I'm really glad that the audiences are taking to it as they are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And it's the adults. I've had adults that would normally poo-poo some sort of, you know, it's Cinderella, I don't want to come see it, and they've absolutely loved it. They've like, we're coming back, we want to see it again, you know. And they had a really good, they found themselves like shocked that they had such a good time and that they really liked the show.
I think you will get a different show each time as well. It really is partly going like to a stand-up show, an improv show, but a scripted show all at the same time, which you're part of, and there's really nothing like it. And I think the benefits will be if America takes to it or Los Angeles takes to this, it's going to be a regular thing, and I think the bottom line is you're going to have young children really being interested again about the theatre, and it's not you know, it doesn't have to be a stuffy kind of, you know, a status thing. You know, going to the ballet and the opera, fantastic, but all right, it's not for everybody. But this is, and if you're 5 and 6 and 7 years old and this is the first time you've been to a theatre, then I think it's magical.
Your kids' eyes lighting up, and just seeing, you know, from kids going, you know, you're not a girl, you're a man. And I was like, thank you, I didn't know. Yeah, it's kind of pretend, and it's fun to see. I've had a history of improv a little bit and stand-up, and I don't believe Mark has had that, but he's a very good actor. He's very, you know, quality act, different stuff. And when Chris had talked to us, it's not the thing that they were worried about was that there was going to be controversy, that they were trying to make fun of Cal and Seacrest. And it's the idea of, it's the spirit of the way that those two guys are, they kind of band up together, and like they like to be hated. They band up against everybody, but when they're together, they're very competitive against each other. So he wanted to kind of capture the spirit of them being a little bit of I'm the star, you know, when those two are together, but against everybody else. They're always, you know, against them. Everybody hates them, and we you know, they band together for that. But then when they are together, then they fight amongst each other, you know, and I'm the prettier one, you know, that sort of thing. So I think we've captured that pretty much. I think we've got a good thing where it's not just two guys, you know, dressing up as women. It's not a show, you know, along those lines. It's actually two men playing women. So I think once that concept kind of comes off, that
Very old
you know,
school Shakespearean.
yeah,
as well,
it
with
won't
the
be
whole-
anything untoward or like it's not, you know, anything weird or, you know, bizarre happening on stage. It's just guys pretending to be, you know, they're
all
actually
the time
playing
back
it.
home, Monty Python, you know,
Yeah,
all that
Monty
kind of stuff. We're
Python
used to that, us Brits.
Yeah, maybe not so much here in the States, but
Yeah.
I think I think we're portraying it pretty well, and there's like a little wink to the nod to the guys where I'm trying to, you know, I was worried about the accents more than anything else because I'm obviously not a British, but
He does
these
it
guys,
so well. He does it so well.
yeah.